to another KSR Happy Hour presented by Country Boy Brewing. Jack's in such a good mood. He's continuing to dance, cracking open a Country Boy beer. What do you got?
The Uge.
The Uge Country Light?
Always the Uge.
Oh, you've got a fancy koozie for it, though, I see.
Where'd you get that
where you
koozie?
Got that.
That's a good-looking
incredible
koozie.
boss. Look at that.
Oh,
Stunning.
I've got mine, too.
Stunning.
Shout out to Clayton and Kroom. They were help me with my Christmas presents this year. They're awesome. They're not a sponsor, but they'll get a free shout out because they're amazing. And shout out to Country Boy. I've got the Halfway Home, which is my Uge. Zack Geoghegan, are you imbibing on this beautiful Thursday?
I will crack open my Awala.
Coward.
Nice.
Yummy.
How dare you not drink? How dare you not drink at 4 o'clock?
I'm going to the gym after. Otherwise, I also have 0 beers in the entire. We're in a moving process over here, so the whole house is just a mess right now.
How much longer before the actual move?
Sunday. Sunday.
Oh
is our
my
moving
gosh!
Day. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah,
so
I've been counting down the days for a long time.
Right?
You're more or less. Yeah. Yeah, we're going like just outside of New Circle Road. It's about time. Jack knows. Jack and Steven know better than anyone the construction situation I've been dealing with for, I don't know, 3 months now. At this point, it has become. We're counting down the seconds at this point to when we can just get out of here and leave. So, but it's coming up soon, Sunday. If anyone wants to help move, come on down, Lexington Avenue.
Yeah.
You know, I'll help you. I'll help you move out. You can help me move out.
Yeah,
Jack,
we'll provide Country Boy beer for him,
No, I probably won't give you anything, but just come help me for the goodness out of your heart, you know.
Love of the game.
Yeah, love of the game.
If you've got a truck, even better. Yeah,
exactly. Yes.
Well, if you're moving into a new house, you know something you may need. My Old Kentucky Home Repair. Let's give them a shout out. Proudly serving the Bluegrass region since 2008, My Old Kentucky Home Repair offers handyman services, home repairs, remodels, and more. Head to their website, www.myoldkyhomerepair.com to learn more or give them a call at 859-940-3376. My Old Kentucky Home Repair is your partner for any home project. I had a home project today, had an electrician come to look at installing a new light. Shocker, they're going to have to come back next week and do it. So, but I got some good FaceTime with the electrician today. It was fun.
Can I make a quick comment here on Holly? She's asking no more game day walkovers. So we do plan to continue doing the walk and talks for the rest of the season because my building's getting torn down. That's why I'm moving. I'm being displaced. I have no choice but to move because of UK is building a bunch of stuff. So, but we get to park here until probably like the end of March. So we will be still doing our walk and talks. At least for the rest of this season. Next season, we're not entirely sure what we're going to do yet. But so
you're going to walk from New Circle Road.
Yeah, we'll be walking.
Sponsors. If you have anywhere in the general walking distance of Rupp Arena, host us and we can begin our walk and talk to Rupp Arena from your location.
Yeah, we won't be walking along New Circle Road like Mark Pope on his bike getting hit by cars when he's he's getting yelled at by Rick Pitino 30 years ago.
Hey, what an awesome segue into our first talk of the day, the Mark Pope press conference. Do you just want to go ahead and lead with that? It's probably not the biggest talking point from it, but when we were divvying up things to write about, it was the one you seized on. So the floor is yours.
Yeah, so I guess he's talked before about how he's like a big Tour de France guy. He mentioned at one point that like his favorite athlete was some Tour de France winner from a long time ago. And when I was like, you know, Google's search engine like just stinks nowadays. Like you can type in like exactly what you're looking for and it won't give it to you at all. So like I couldn't find the old Tour de France stuff because I know we'd written about his, you know, the Tour de France thing, the biker that the cyclist he really enjoyed. Couldn't find it. But what I did come across was an article from 1996 from somewhere in Virginia where Mark Pope mentioned the exact same Tour de France bike or cyclist in this article when he was going through it was like a couple days after UK won the national championship and was going through some like pre-draft type training things. And it was some random Virginia writer who was talking to him about it. And he mentioned the exact same guy. So I thought that was interesting. But yeah, he's always been a big cyclist. When he came to Kentucky here, or I guess he used to bike from his home in Bellevue, Washington to the University of Washington, which is like a 7-mile ride. So 14 miles there and back, did that every day. Then he came to Kentucky and got into more cycling stuff with Jeff Shepherd. And then one day they were doing like a 100-mile ride or something like that, 100-mile race, got into an accident when a car turned in front of him somewhere on the outskirts of Lexington. And then Rick Pitino immediately said, yeah, you guys are never riding bikes ever again while you're here. And you can understand why, because those two ended up being pretty important pieces for Rick Pitino's future Kentucky team. So I understand Pitino there, especially after one of your big guys gets smashed by a car on wherever, probably New Circle Road or whatever it was. So that was a nice little story though. I enjoyed that one.
Do you have to have a special bike if you're 6'11"? Like,
got
probably?
to, right?
A unicycle. At least put them on one of those.
Right. Or like an extra.
One of those giant bikes where the ones where the front.
Tire.
Yeah, where the front tire is like, 30 feet tall and the back one is like 6 inches, like one of those massive ones from the 1800s. Yeah, I think that would be funny, actually, if he did that. That's what instead of the whole tour bus thing coming into Rupp Arena when he's introduced, that's what he should have done, was the big unicycle bike thing.
When they win number 9, he can ride it
There we go. Yeah.
Yeah, and that made me remember when I was interviewing Stacy Shepard for that article I did a couple years ago, I talked to her mom. And she said that Jeff and Mark, I think they were roommates at the time, I can't recall, both rode bicycles from Lexington to London so Jeff could see Stacy. That's a long ride.
Yeah, that's 90 miles, 80 miles probably to do that, I'd imagine, from Lexington to
Maybe
London.
That was part of their 100 mile.
Yeah.
Captain Crash would like us to ride on little scooters. Push scooters on our way over for the walk. So like sponsored by Razor. I'm for it.
I was a big ripstick guy back in my
youth.
I
love the ripstick.
If you want, imagine Steven recording us on a ripstick while we're going down High Street.
That wouldn't be unsafe at all, man.
Yeah. Hey, good for content, and that's what we're here for.
We're suckers for content.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that was just one thing that Pope said today. It's been a crazy day here, so I've been trying to catch up on it. Obviously, the GM stuff was a big talking point. He talked about it last night on his radio show. I feel like everybody's talking about the GM right now. Auburn is looking to hire one, which just pushes this topic more into the forefront. Last night, Pope said that Kentucky is having ongoing conversations about hiring a GM. I hope those conversations don't go on too much longer because they're losing time. The portal opens soon. Jack, what was the latest that Pope said? Because you asked him about it today. He had an interesting quote that it was made in jest, but will still probably frustrate people.
Oh, well, we're just the clickbait specialists over here. So, it is what it is. What I'm looking for is the guy. So here's my thinking going in. He had just answered the question about the timeline. Are you guys interested in hiring a GM? He's been asked it 1,000 times, and he's given some sort of variation of, yes, we've talked about it. There are pros, there are cons. We kind of like some things about it. We don't like some things about it. We'll see what happens. He has given that sort of answer 100 times. So I went into the day thinking, okay, maybe if we angle it a different way and say, okay, what would you be looking for if you were to hire one? What would be the job description? If you're going to talk to a bunch of candidates and you say, hey, here's what I'm looking for if you were to take this job, yes or no, what would that look like? So I was like, that might be the thing that gets him. And his response to that was, what I'm looking for is the guy that can get me all the best players for $0. So
we got to find, honestly.
Didn't work, and I should have known better. I try, and it is what it is. And then he kept going and said, now I can't find the rest of it. But he is joking about how his former players. Oh yeah, we're having a lot of conversations. I've had several former teammates say that it's exactly what they can do. I don't know if I can trust them, but it's a part of the process. So,
ouch! Throwing the former players under the bus.
Who would be the best, not named Nazir Muhammad? Who would be the best former player to take over the GM position at Kentucky? Who could land the best talent for $0?
Now I got to look at the roster
for $0. I mean, isn't Tayshaun Prince serving in a somewhat similar role? I mean,
wasn't a teammate. Though.
Yeah, not a teammate, but you said former player. Well, I think somebody called into the radio show, or maybe it was the pre-show, and said Jeff Shepherd. I love Jeff Shepherd. and I know he's a financial advisor. I don't
Yeah.
know if he's the right guy for that, but I'm trying to think of what the other guys do now.
I have no idea. Ron Mercer, Derek Anderson, Walter McCarty, Antoine Walker.
Maybe not
Antoine Walker.
Definitely not him. There's a documentary out there about what he did. So what were you gonna say, Stephen? No, it sounded like Stephen popped in, or the little.
I think he's gathering graphics. It looks like down there.
Oh, Stephen's about to speak. Whenever I see the little Stephen is in the audio, I'm like, here comes the voice of God.
Here comes the takes.
But yeah, it wasn't. What is he supposed to say? I continue to hear that conversation. Like, he's not lying. I have heard that there are conversations, but just how he's angling it. The issue is we are 6 weeks away from the portal opening, and we're even closer to, I think the championship season, championship Sunday, when all these conference tournament ends and a lot of these teams are knocked out, they don't make the tournament. Like, it's going to be a flood of portal guys, and Pope shouldn't be having to juggle preparing for his own very important NCAA tournament run and also gathering dozens and dozens and hundreds of mid-major guys that from no-name university that averaged 19.6 points per game last year, and saying, oh, that's a perfect fit for what we're going to do next year when we're trying to focus on the rest of this season. So it's just the juggling. You don't add more stuff to your plate just for the sake of doing so. If you can get help as soon as you can get help, why not take advantage of that? So hopefully, I would like to see something in place, and I'm leaning towards something happening. I don't know if I feel pretty strongly it's not going to be a general manager. I think it's going to be some type similar to Indiana as like an executive director or director of player personnel. It's going to be a different name, but similar role. And it needs to happen in the next week or two.
Well, who cares what they call it? Just get it done. I thought Brandon Ramsey had an awesome tweet, and Stephen, I can send it to you if you want to show it. It's long. I'll just read a little bit of it. He said he doesn't think a single hire is going to fix it, that there needs to be a staff of people. And so he said
front office,
on that staff, there would be 4 roles. One, executive program director. It's a person who doesn't really, have a role in recruiting and evaluating, but they're at the finishing table for contract negotiations to handle the business side of stuff. I think that's key. 2, director of NIL, brands, and player procurement. Somebody with more of like an AAU, EYBL, Nike, NIL background. Just knowing that side of the business. 3, a player evaluation coordinator, just someone who researches the heck out of these guys, like a stat analytic guru, spends all their time on Synergy, looking up the data. And then a 4th person just to help them out, like a graduate assistant. So I think that makes pretty freaking good common sense. And obviously, if UK or anybody on that staff is watching this, there's your blueprint. I'm sure there are a million ways to go about it, but you've got to address it. And even if it's reshuffling things with the current staff and making it all make a little more sense of this needs to be on this person's plate, this needs to be on the other person's plate, it's fine. I think UK still needs to bring somebody in from the outside, but given the time crunch, I don't know if it's going to happen. So we'll see. Make it happen. No pressure, right? But I do agree with you, Jack, that Pope needs to be able to just focus on this team. And I think he had a quote, I think it was end of last week, or I forget when it was, about how he wants to give his whole heart and soul to this. And he needs to be able to do that. He can't do that if he's trying to do the transfer portal stuff. If he's trying to do everything, he can't give it his full attention. And that's not really fair to him. It's not really fair to the players. It's not really fair to fans. It's not fair to the rest of his staff. So,
And I think more on Brandon Ramsey's point, where this is not like, it's not just a catch-all with one single GM, because I think a lot of people are also, it flew totally under the radar, but last offseason, he also lost Will Barton, who was the director of basketball administration, and Brett Ryback, who was the director of player development. Lost both of those guys before the season went in. and didn't replace either of them, just added more to Nick Robinson, who's the Dobo, which is like just the baseline support staff where, in charge of scheduling and logistics with flights and bringing teams in and recruit. Like, there's a lot on Nick Robinson's plate as is from a day-to-day, minute-by-minute itinerary perspective, that he added 2 more additional roles that were already on staff on top of Adobo with him, and now it's all on Nick Robinson's plate. So he's very good at his job. He works his absolute butt off, but how deep can he get as a specialist in any one field if he's stretched so thin, where he can be pretty solid across the board, but he can't be great at any one thing? And I think that's the same thing with Pope. He can be pretty good at even negotiating and recruiting and all that, but to be at Kentucky, you have to be an elite specialist at something. And if you can, you have the resources and the platform at Kentucky to be able to go. We have all the money to hire the best support staff in the country. Why not add a specialist for this role, and another for this role, and another for this role? So I think it's going to be, there's going to be a big shakeup this offseason, I think, and it's going to be more additions than subtractions.
Sweet.
Yeah. I mean, I think that makes sense. Hopefully, by the time that happens, Kentucky will have landed a very good portal class that, we can look at next year and say was worth every cent. So fingers crossed. We're hoping. There was other stuff said today. There was mention Pope first teased the summer trip, the foreign trip, on his radio show last night. Sadly, we didn't find out where it is, although it's been fun guessing. It's somewhere Pope has never been before, which can rule out at least Italy in terms of Kentucky's summer trips. But, I mean, do we think it's somewhere Pope has just never been before himself, or been with UK? Because that could...
Well, I did think it was funny that, to bring up another Pitino mention, that he said that the trip to Italy was the worst experience of his life because Rick Pitino just made it hell. And I can 100% see that, where Rick Pitino makes a vacation into like a
no fun.
Like a no fun, like military camp where they're just like getting up at the crack of dawn, like not getting to explore or anything. But, about 8 months later, they won a national championship. So, maybe there was some method to the madness there, but I hope, what are some of the places you're looking at? Are there a couple of places you're like, ooh, that'd be cool to go to? Like, I feel like France is like probably a big, like an easy spot to look at. I'm just trying to think of places where like basketball's kind of growing bigger and bigger at least in Europe, if we're just looking there specifically.
My husband mentioned Spain last night. I thought that was kind of interesting because I feel like a bunch of the FIBA events have been there recently.
Yeah.
So maybe that's an area. I think it'd be kind of fun to go to Eastern Europe. I don't know if they would do it, just to like see that basketball culture, because you hear so much about it.
Yelovich is back on the team.
Right. I think that'd be fun.
What time one of these kids get a homecoming? Forget all the kids from Texas and New York and Florida that they get all their homecomings. About time we get a homecoming for Yelovich.
Let's go to Serbia and play MM Betamax at MM Betamax's home gym. Like, I think that would be awesome.
It really would. Awesome. Like, you want to talk about fun basketball atmospheres? Like, Eastern Europeans, they have some fun when they're cheering on their basketball teams. Like, they let you bring in flares and fireworks and stuff. Like, I mean, it's a whole like festival when they're inside. So yeah, like there's smoke everywhere in there from all the fire that's been emitted throughout the arena. So I mean, it'd be fun. I don't know if that's what they would let that happen for Kentucky playing in whatever gym that they got over there, but it'd be interesting.
Yeah, I mean, we know that the Greece basketball rivalries are crazy. Pitino always talks about when he coached over there. That I wouldn't mind going to Greece. I've been there twice. I'll go there 3 times. Probably not going to be England because, I mean, if we're going by, the UK's been there before. They've been to London. I also don't think basketball is really that huge in England. I don't know. That's just the feeling that I got when I was there. They were like, oh, there's a basketball game today? Yeah. I don't think it's going to be Mexico, even though I feel like they're trying to grow the sport there. I don't think that that's going to happen. Don't think it's going to be Canada. They've been there, done that.
No,
don't think it's going to be
Bahamas trip. I mean, that seems like the easy one, but I feel like maybe Pope's been there before, or I don't know. Maybe when he was saying a place that he hasn't been, he was also saying Kentucky in general, or like the program hasn't been. I don't know, what exactly he was saying with that, but Bahamas trip seems kind of almost too obvious.
Been there, done that. I mean, it was fun. Don't get me wrong. It's the Bahamas, but it's time to shake it up, do something a little different. I was reading your post about it last night, Jack, and I forgot that UK went to Japan.
That's one that Steven and I were talking through text last night. We're like, that's an interesting one that I would keep an eye on. They have that. Do you remember it went viral on TikTok 100 times? The UK restaurant, University of Kentucky.
Yes.
Restaurant.
I've written like 3 articles about that.
Every 3 years we write about that on the website.
I would love to experience it myself. And if you go to that restaurant's menu, Steve and I were laughing, exchanging just menu items. It's the funniest thing on the planet. Just
that'd be awesome.
Do yourself a favor. Go find what's the restaurant called specifically. Steve and I have it in our text, but yeah, go read that.
See it on my TikTok, all the time.
It is UK Cafe.
Appropriately named.
Just hilarious. It's all in Japanese. I can't read any of this.
Google Translate.
I don't know. I'll find it and get back with you.
I used the Google Translate last night for it, and the menu is hilarious because they give like the dishes their own like narrative, and it's so good.
Do they have chili Gillespie on the menu? Or
I have one.
Gator.
I'll read it. It's worth it. Rice of Pan Americano Acano with soup. Billy Bob, a native Tex-Mex man who cruises the Pan-American Highway east of El Paso, Texas in his GMC C1500 truck every day, works as the chief mechanic at a GMC dealership. He has a great love and pride for Tex-Mex, but honestly, he's tired of eating Tex-Mex food. His girlfriend, Chris, decided to please him by making him a slightly oriental fried rice dish, which enlightened him. The rice plate features onion and egg topped with plenty of California beans, fried rice, and a teriyaki and garlic oriental sauce topped with Mexican salsa. We are confident it's delicious.
That's the description for
official menu item of the rice of Pan Americana with soup.
Does every menu item get that?
You what?
Does every menu item get that like level of description?
Kansas City beefsteak with soup. When it comes to beefsteak, you can't go past Kansas City, Missouri, the birthplace of the dish. The lean, tender red meat is extremely juicy. A hearty American beefsteak topped with garlic rice tossed with bean sprouts, edamame, and cabbage for the strong and powerful who want to eat a hearty beefsteak. You'll never find a beefsteak this big for this price.
The word beefsteak makes me uncomfortable.
Yeah, it reminds me of milk steak from Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
I'm in. Well, I want to go.
That would be fun. That would definitely be a culture shock. So as we get closer, we'll like place some odds on it, like each place it could be. I think that could be fun. It feels like we're going to have to wait at least a little while longer to figure that one out. Any other interesting things in the press conference besides Vanderbilt talk? We'll segue into Vandy talk here in a minute.
Duke Miles is back.
And yeah,
Vandy didn't need him the last time, so
right. Well, that was going to be the way I kind of approached it, because I wrote an article about it today, and it's like they changed how they played because he couldn't play versus Kentucky. He was like a late scratch because he decided to have that cleanup surgery in his knee. And so they went big with their lineup, and they kind of pounced on the whole Kentucky isn't physical, they don't rebound, and they exploited Kentucky. Like they made Kentucky look just kind of weak and soft in all the bad ways. But they haven't gone back from that starting lineup since then, even since Duke Miles is back. So Duke Miles has been back for 2 games. He's come off the bench to score, I think, 27 points. Playing really well. He's hit 5 threes over 2 games. I'll be curious to see like how that impacts Saturday, right? Are they going to just bring him in off the bench and kind of just let him shoot away? Because Vandy hit 10 threes in the first game. So clearly they were still, even though they were punishing Kentucky on the inside, they were punishing them on the outside as well. I mean, could that work to Kentucky's advantage that, you know, the game plan that you had to beat Kentucky so handily in Nashville, now there's a new wrinkle to it. Maybe it'll mess them up. Maybe Kentucky can take advantage of that. Or am I just trying to talk myself into a win because I'm so desperate to have a win over this team?
Zach, if you want to take that one.
I mean, as Mark Pope would say, it's both.
It's beautiful.
I mean, Vanderbilt's 4-3 since that Kentucky win, since that blowout win. So it's not like, they've figured things out since then. If anything, they've kind of tripped themselves up a little bit. It's not like they've faced like a gauntlet of a schedule either. Like
they lost to Oklahoma at home.
A close loss to Oklahoma, beat Mississippi by 3, beat the same Auburn team that beat Kentucky on the road, but then lost to Missouri, lost to Tennessee, beat Georgia by 8. So, they're not world beaters or anything. They're probably still similar to what they were at the time when Kentucky lost to them by 25, however long ago. It's just Duke Miles is a really good player. I think both the main thing is he's a two-way guy. He plays both ends of the floor. So that's, I think the defensive impact he brings is probably more beneficial for them because Tyler Tanner can just go and score 30 kind of, on any given night, it feels like. So it's definitely a plus for having them having him back, but it's I can't compare anything that happened a month ago at this point because it feels like Kentucky is a different team from a month ago for both good and bad reasons, and probably the same for Vanderbilt as well.
Pope was also asked about the kind of post-game comments with Byington and some of the players that said we could take advantage of them being soft, for lack of a better word. Like that was something that popped on tape, and factor that in with just the final score, losing by 25, and just the embarrassment that came with that game. Pope was asked, do they go in with a chip on their shoulder knowing how last game went and what they said about Kentucky afterward? And he said the right thing of, you can't go harder than 100. Like that's what we've always strived to be. And, you can't get too high for one game because it means you're not high enough for the next and all that stuff. But just reading through that, it's very obvious that this team, they were obviously pissed about how things unfolded in Nashville, and just that city has been so horrible to them here recently that I think they're going in with a different type of edge. And when somebody calls you soft, like your first reaction is going to be, okay, I'm going to prove you wrong the next time I see you. So I definitely think there's this one's personal for this specific Kentucky team.
I sure hope so. I mean, if not,
it'd be a huge win. It
would be massive, and I think it's the best opportunity they have for a win the rest of the season. I mean, I know Texas A&M hasn't looked great, but you're still playing them there. I feel like that's a game Kentucky could drop, and I just can't talk myself into beating Florida yet. Florida looks too good. I don't see it happening. I do think Kentucky can beat Vanderbilt Saturday. In fact, I'm picking it in our predictions. Spoiler. I just refuse to believe that Vandy is that much better than they did, a month ago. I refuse to believe that Kentucky's as bad as they looked versus Vanderbilt. I mean, I've been in that gym and I've seen Vandy just go off on teams and kind of just look otherworldly when they're just not even that great. So I'm thinking they just had some Memorial magic going on. I don't know if you all remember this, but that was the game after the ice storm, and they dedicated it to the city of Nashville. So maybe there was some added motivation there. But I mean, Duke Miles, he played at Oklahoma last year. So this could be a revenge game for him, maybe. I mean, I looked it up. He only scored 6 total points in Oklahoma's losses to Kentucky last season. So maybe he'll have revenge on his mind. We'll see. I do have a feeling, even if Kentucky wins, I feel like Duke Miles is going to get like 3 or 4 threes, and we're all going to be yelling about it. Or that other Tyler Nickel, one of the 3 Tylers on their roster. It still makes me really mad that a team with 3 Tylers on its roster from Nashville beat Kentucky by 25 points. It's just, for this Tyler, it's hard.
Or it's going to bring out the best of Ortega and Brandon Garrison again to other direction.
Can he wear his Oklahoma jersey?
Like maybe the undershirt that he wore last, the scent like an old hound dog.
Give BG some different colored contact lenses so it makes him see, black as
like a bull when he sees red.
Yeah.
I love it. So we'll be waiting to see. They are doing something cool for this game. Credit to UK. They're having a blue and white out. So depending on where you sit in Rupp Arena, you wear either blue or white. And if it works, it's going to be awesome. I get annoyed with people who say that UK should be above this stuff because it's silly. This is a basketball game, and you want it to look good. I mean, who cares if it's t-shirt night? Just put on the color that you're supposed to wear and hope that it helps Kentucky get a win. So did either of you all have big thoughts on the blue and white out?
Yep, you see that 235 right up there in the right corner.
Yeah, I was about to say we're blue.
What are we wearing, Zach?
We're blue. I'll be wearing my Cleveland Cavaliers hoodie probably.
Oh, boo, boo.
I'm a professional journalist.
I'm not even. I don't even classify myself as that. I'm a Cavs guy, man. Got to support my team. But I am a big fan of the blue white thing. It's easy. It's not like a stripe situation or anything. Like you've got basically 48 hours for everyone. 90% of the people going to this game are going to see that graphic between now and then at some point in time. It's just a matter of if they remember or not. But if they pull it off, it's going to look cool. Like I'm trying to remember the last time they tried to do something like this. And I feel like they did maybe a couple of years ago where they tried to do some sort of blue-white thing, but it was maybe like, it might've been like less than 24 hours before the game. Or maybe I'm thinking of football. I forget exactly, but I feel like semi-recently, either for a men's basketball or football game, they did this. And they're also doing this for the women's basketball game on Sunday against number 3 South Carolina for Senior Day.
Yeah.
So that will be awesome for that. Yeah, Steven's got the graphic for that one there as well. And they're splitting that one up side by side. So that one should be really cool. It won't look as cool on camera because you'll just see you'll only see one color. But if you're there, that should be an awesome setting. And then, if they can pull it off, I think most people will be able to pull that off at Rupp Arena, and it'll look really cool. I think it will. I love these kind of little small bits because it's not like it's not necessarily a t-shirt night or anything. It's just like, hey, we want to make the arena look cool. It's something that Kentucky barely ever does. So I'm all in on it. I like it.
Yeah, and if you're a Kentucky fan, you own a blue shirt. And even if you aren't a Kentucky fan, you have a white shirt. Everybody's got a white undershirt. I mean, come on.
It's gonna be 65 degrees in Lexington. So you don't have to have a sweatshirt or anything. Yeah, wear your t-shirts, come on. It'll be no excuses for this one.
That'll be awesome. Yeah, I'm really excited to see if everybody can come together and pull it off. So if you are going to the game, obviously dress accordingly. If you know somebody going to the game, send them that graphic. Make sure they see it. Stuff like this only works if everybody kind of participates, or if like 85-90% of people participate. And there's nothing more embarrassing than trying to pull it off and it not working. So we're going to be on ESPN.
Am I wrong with this? They tried to do this recently, or am I misremembering that?
I know they have football.
Maybe it's football I'm thinking of.
I keep seeing, like, back when there was that whole t-shirt night debate, like a month ago or so, I remember seeing a screenshot going around. It was an old screenshot of Rupp, but they had clearly called for a white out or a blue and white out because I remember seeing all the white t-shirts. So, I mean, surely Kentucky is not above this. It's supposed to be fun. So if you're going, wear blue or white accordingly. Stephen asks in the chat, why can't we announce these things earlier? Hey, I give them credit for getting it out on Thursday. That's better than Friday, definitely better than Saturday morning. So let's just give credit where credit is due. That should be really cool. So excited for that. And then in less than 2 weeks, you guys will be down here, which is crazy to me. I cannot believe the SEC tournament is that close. Obviously, some pretty important basketball games still to play, but are you all excited for Nashville?
Yes. Well, yes.
Excited for.
Ask me after Kentucky's first game, my excitement level. But yes, I'm excited. I think it's going to be a fun time.
The idea of Nashville really excites me.
Yeah, I feel like we can break it down into different areas, right? Are you excited to come to Nashville for the SEC tournament? That's obviously a yes. Are you excited to watch Kentucky play in the SEC tournament? Remains to be seen.
If they win the first game, then but man, I'll be nervous. Like that first game, there's a lot riding on that after I'm going into this postseason with the idea of, okay, the season obviously hasn't gone as planned. We all wanted it to go better, and the $22 million roster to play like all of those things are true. But I want all of this to lead to something tangible. Like even if it means an SEC tournament championship appearance, we can at least end the season and go, okay, it wasn't the way we all thought, but at least we got something. But man, if they lose that first game in Nashville and everything is riding on an NCAA tournament run, I don't know if I have it in my guts. Like I'll be a nervous wreck. So that first game is going to be massive, and if they are able to pull that off, then I think we could party a little bit and have a good time. And my alarm is going to go off right when it's supposed to on Friday morning this time, instead of the way it didn't 2 years ago.
We can still blame Mont Dawson for that one if he's
that jerk
who sent us a TikTok today of what's to come. It's that he loves to try and poke the bear a little bit when it comes to having some adult beverages in Nashville.
But you know what? Mont Dawson answers the bell. He's always at the arena at like 8 a.m. the next morning. Granted, he may be hungover as heck, but he's there. So.
I hated my life that next day. Man, I woke up.
I hated your life a little bit too.
Let's tell that. I don't know if we've told that story on this before, but Mont Dawson took us out. Zach, who was with us? Drew was with us.
Is this the night you all were walking around in the rain?
Yes.
Okay.
Drew, if Drew's watching, Drew Franklin took us to some place. I remember it was called Printer's Alley, and it was supposed to be close to where we were, and it was pouring rain, and it was not close. It was not close at all. I mean, we were soaking wet by the time we got to whatever destination we were at. The bars were starting to close. It was a very late evening on the first night that we were there. That was my first ever time doing the SEC tournament.
I think this was supposed to be your initiation. I think Drew was like, it's time to show little Zachy what Nashville is like.
Yeah. What I learned.
And every single stop, Mont Dawson, our photographer, who's the nicest soul in the world, but man, he can be a little ass. He can definitely be an ass.
He likes some fireball.
Every single
the last
stop,
thing in the world that I
want. And he wouldn't even like give you a chance. He just like hand it to you and you just be like, all right. So we got trashed. It was not.
I was not there. I went home like a responsible person.
Not a good. And we got home. It was 4:00 in the morning when we got home, and I had the morning post the next day, and I swear I set my alarm. I swear I didn't. I'd probably just slept through it or whatever. Folks, I woke up at 10:15 a.m.
Central Time
to like 20 text messages, and I was like, oh God, I'm getting fired. No.
I was so mad. Nick Roush, if Nick is watching, Nick knows exactly how mad I was, because I had like 3 side chats going about how mad I was with different people. God. And the funniest part of that whole story was Mon is sitting across the table from me, and he's like, well, I made it. I'm sorry I made them break their curfew. And I'm just like, Mon, shut up.
I was devastated. And like the text was like, it was like, I guess I'll get a morning post together. And I was like, damn it. It's like when your parents say that, like, I'm not mad, I'm disappointed. It's like, oh man.
I got pretty passive aggressive.
I walked the walk of shame to Bridgestone. I walked in hungover as hell. Gosh, man, I felt sick. I was just felt my insides were just spinning and turning. And I sit down and just like that death stare from everybody. I walked in, I was like, I know.
We learned from our mistakes. Like last year, we did not do anything close to that. Like I remember the first morning after, Jack and I, we woke up at a great time. We were able to walk down the street. We had a nice little breakfast. We had plenty of time to spare. It was a good time. And so we learned from our mistakes.
Never again.
Everybody makes mistakes. Yeah. Well, so let's look at the bracket. So with Kim Pom projections, it looks like, let me pull it up in case Steven doesn't have it. It looks like Kentucky is supposed to play in the first game on Thursday. So they would be the 8 seed playing the winner of South Carolina and Texas at 11:30 a.m. Central Time on Thursday. I like that. I have wanted the early game at the SEC tournament, albeit not a Wednesday game. I've wanted the early game at the SEC tournament for forever, because it means, selfishly, on our end, it means we can get our work done and we can space the content throughout the day. And then we can actually go out and celebrate a little bit. Maybe not be out till 4 a.m. But
didn't we get the 2 late games last year? Like I'm pretty sure both games UK played last year, they were 9 o'clock games.
I think we've gotten the late game the past 2 years.
Yeah.
I think.
And those are rough. Those are rough.
Those are hard. And I mean, you guys are much younger than I am. It just gets harder as you get older. It's just brutal. So yeah, in this scenario, which has Kentucky losing the final 3 games of the season, which is important to say, it's based on KenPom. Do you like Kentucky's draw? Obviously, if they won, they would have to play Florida on Friday morning. But Jack, what do you make of this draw?
I'm for it. The possibility of the Texas rematch kind of scares me. Dalen Swain is playing like the best player in the SEC right now, so that definitely concerns me. But man, I look at that Florida Gators logo and something about that to play for the weekend and all that. It would definitely intrigue me. It's something that would be a lot of fun. But there's very, very real go home early potential with this path. But as Pope has talked about, like, this is a write your own story team. Why not take a road less traveled, as difficult as it comes, and see what you can do, prove yourself. I mean, they have. I think fans have earned the right to see a little bit of Nashville magic after seeing how things have unfolded for this team. So I think fans have earned a nice little impressive upset run in Nashville.
Yeah, there's another way that it can play out. So there is technically a path to the double bye still on the table. Kentucky would have to win out and get a lot of help, but it's there. There's also, I mean, Kentucky can land anywhere from the 4 seed to the 9 seed pretty much right now, maybe even lower. I know the 9 seed would mean playing the first game on Wednesday, which just seems insane to me. Like, I never in my million years would have imagined that happening, but it's out there. But I think the scenario I also like would have Kentucky being the 5 seed. So they play in the second game on Thursday. And I believe Tennessee would be the 4 seed. So it could set up a potential rematch with Tennessee on Friday. Here's why I don't hate that. So Kentucky's obviously beaten Tennessee twice. We learned last year it's very hard to beat a team 3 times in one season, especially if it's Tennessee. Because Tennessee beat Kentucky in the Sweet 16. But so say you're the 5 seed, say you make it to Friday, you play Tennessee. I'm not going to call it house money because any game against Tennessee it's a big one. But if you lost that game, would it be the worst thing in the world? You would have made it to Friday, and I don't know. I don't hate it as much as I thought it would. Zach, what's your thoughts?
I hate it. I hate it.
Totally fair.
Hindsight's 20/20, but just looking back at last year, like, it's not luck, but it felt like Kentucky kind of got away with those 2 regular season wins, and then you saw Tennessee play to their full potential in that Sweet 16 game. Kentucky has beaten Tennessee twice this year, but man, you had a 17-point comeback, and then what was the second one? A 14-point comeback. Like, I understand that Kentucky's done that several times this season, but that's hard to do 3 times against the same team. So I would not like that at all. I'd rather play Arkansas. I think they're they're in the 3 seed spot right now. Like, let's do that. I don't want to play
Arkansas.
If we really want some headlines, let's do Pope versus Cal in that second, or in that, I guess technically the 3rd round. That would be, I would love that. Like, I would feel good about Kentucky's chance. I don't feel good about Kentucky playing Alabama or Tennessee in those SEC tournaments. Especially Alabama took it to Kentucky last year in the same setting. We already see what they did to Kentucky earlier this season. Jack and I were down there in Tuscaloosa for that. So, I feel like Kentucky can at least hang with Florida, even though we saw how that one went. And then I'd feel better of those top 4 against playing Arkansas at least.
I don't think I can handle that. Like, yes, Kentucky beat them, and I thankfully, like, that gave me some emotional, all right, I'm moving on from that whole drama. But I think there would be some irony in John Calipari and Arkansas beating Kentucky in the SEC tournament.
It would suck to lose.
I would not want to deal with that. And he would be insufferable in the post-game press conference. He would be like, I've always said the SEC tournament matters. I mean,
yeah.
he would just live it up. So no thank you to that scenario, unless it's like in the championship game or something, and they're coming from different sides of the bracket. But Jack, you're laughing. I feel like you're on my side.
He'd say, hey guys, I'm gonna go back to my hotel and be with my dogs and watch Little House on the Prairie and prepare for the game
He
tomorrow.
would bring his dog to the press conference.
Oh, that jerk. Yes, he definitely would. Man, there's something I think about the Florida matchup specifically that would be the one where you'd go in with the most house money and say, hey, we only have revenge on our side. We were competitive against them down in Gainesville. Why not? Like they are playing as hot as anybody in the SEC. They are definitely focused more on running it back in the NCAA tournament than they are in the SEC tournament. So I think that one would definitely favor, but man, that Tennessee one just scares the crap out of me. Just the same storyline of last season, and like that would eat away at Pope and just that whole coaching staff after here we go again. It's the exact same thing unfolding. At least it's not to end our season, but it would sure be heartbreaking to end our first run of the postseason in Nashville. So that would scare me to death. But yeah, Florida for some reason really intrigues me.
I'm kind of the same way, but I would like to see. I'd like to see how that regular season finale goes, maybe before I fully buy in on the idea that Kentucky could potentially take down Florida. Because if that was the
Tennessee player that said that Tennessee is better than Kentucky after the second loss, he would. That quote would come back.
Bishop Boswell.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like if this rematch happens, we would see that quote a lot.
Kentucky, of those 80 minutes, Kentucky led for 4 of them. So it's kind of hard to really talk yourself into Kentucky, other than, I mean, obviously the 2 W's are all that matter, but when you kind of compare the games side by side, you're like, man, it would be hard to not pick Kentucky, or at least, if you're Las Vegas setting the line, I feel like Tennessee would probably be pretty comfortable the favorite for that one.
Yeah. So we're excited for Nashville. Really just want Kentucky to have a good weekend in Nashville, because I'm tired of seeing the whole Kentucky's terrible in Nashville. Steven's got the stats probably in his head ready to pull up. But yeah, it should be a fun time. I'm excited for you all to unveil your Airbnb theme to the KSR audience. You're not going to have
stuff in store as well, potentially.
Oh, good.
That we're working on as well.
Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah.
Not really, not yet. But well, I'll just say this. I mean, it's Jack's show, but I'm trying to help mediate some stuff. But we're probably going to do some live Sources Say episodes in Nashville where fans can come and hang out with us
on Broadway.
All right, I like it
on Broadway. Yes.
Look at you, producer. This is great. I mean, do we have the money to pay a fee to book a spot on Broadway?
We do when it's free.
It's the best, free 99. It's my favorite price. Is John
my favorite price for portal players too.
Yeah, I know that Pope's quote today did take me back to all of Cal's old jokes about being frugal, free 99 and all that. It was so we're excited about that. Less than 2 weeks away. Let's see. Let's hit on some UK women's basketball. They play tonight. They play Auburn. This was my main question. I mean, tonight is the last road game. Sunday is senior day. I went to go look it up today. The game versus number 3 South Carolina on a Sunday is on SEC Network Plus. Why? It's a Sunday. I think we had the same discussion 3 weeks ago with another UK women's game that it was on SEC Network Plus, but this is South Carolina.
And the argument back then was that it was NFL playoffs and oh man, there's the TV schedule so loaded that there's no excuse for this Sunday.
I'm looking it up.
What else is on TV on that Sunday?
It was a top 5 2 weeks ago, maybe 2 weeks ago. It was top 5. I think it was Vandy and Texas. It was number 4 versus number 5.
That's
and
right.
That game was on SEC Network Plus. That was a little ridiculous, but Auburn's not a very good team. And Kentucky's kind of playing better basketball right now. So this would be a good one to just kind of wipe them away on the road and then really pump up some energy for this regular season finale against Don Staley's crew, who was having fun with the Gamecock mascot in Columbia on Tuesday night, which I thought was funny. She was having a full conversation with him. Yeah.
Yeah. They were having a grand old time. So I know if Kentucky finishes like that, we want them to finish as a top 4. Or we want them to be a top 4 seed so they can host in the NCAA tournament. How close are we to that being reality?
I think
are they in good position?
They are. I'm pretty sure as of the most recent rankings or bracket reveal, they're 16th, or maybe the net rankings are 16th. So that's the very last 4 seed. So that gets you the double bye, or the not the double bye. You get to host the first 2 rounds like they did last year. That obviously didn't help because Kentucky still lost. I believe it's to Kansas State. I want to say last year in the round of 32. But yeah, so that's huge to have that. So you take care of Auburn, and then you could probably still lose to South Carolina and then win a couple games in the SEC tournament and then get yourself into that top 16 spot. But yeah, they've got Tiani Key back, so that's huge. That's a big key to their success. They're better when she plays, obviously, because she's a borderline all SEC caliber player. So yeah, they're probably a massive favorite tonight. I don't know what the spread is or anything like that, but Auburn I think is like 3-11 or even worse than that, maybe worse than 3-11 in SEC play. They're just not a great team right now.
Okay, that's great. Well, I was trying to look up what is on ESPN's networks on Sunday that they can't show Kentucky, South Carolina.
Yeah, what do they got?
We've got at 11 a.m. So these are Central Time. So at noon Eastern, you've got number 4 Texas, number 24 Alabama. Okay, whatever. That's on SEC Network. And SEC Network at 2 p.m. Auburn versus Arkansas. Neither of those teams are ranked. You can't get Kentucky on there. Let's see. ESPN has
easily.
Yeah, ESPN has at noon, they have number 12 Duke versus number 21 North Carolina. Okay, that's a rivalry, whatever.
ESPN
at 2
loves
o'clock,
that one.
Yeah, 2 o'clock Eastern, number 5 Vandy versus Tennessee. Okay. I mean, I still just think that there's got to be a way to get this game on. I mean, even if you look at ESPNU, it's just showing like replays and cheerleading. And I mean, come on, like this is stupid.
I feel like they do that intentionally for the you're forced to subscribe where they don't add anything with the ESPNU thing. I feel like it's just their show the replays and the dumb ESPN the Ocho nonsense on ESPNU and all that, and then make people get the subscription because people will obviously want to pay for this matchup.
Someone joked on the board, or I thought they were joking. I think it was Parker UNC fan, or not. He's not a UNC fan, but you know who I'm talking about from the board. Yeah. I think he was saying like something ahead of the game on Tuesday where he's like, yeah, there's a Microsoft Excel 2024 championship going on this other channel on ESPN. And I was like, oh, haha. And then some other people were responding like, oh, you were serious. Like they're actually showing Microsoft Excel championships from 2024, which I didn't realize was a thing. Or even something that you would make a competition for and then broadcast on ESPN. But I guess that's more important than top 20, top 15 SEC battles on the hardwood.
It's ridiculous. All right, so let's get some KS Board questions. Speaking of KS Board, let's get to it. Stephen, can you pull up the first one, please? Connor R. says, if you could erase your memory and rewatch any TV show or movie for the first time again, what would be in your top 5? I had a little time to think about this. I think TV shows... I think watching Breaking Bad again without knowing Breaking Bad would be great.
Yeah, that was mine too.
Yeah, and my husband rewatched it like last year or something, and he was like, he mentioned something from the show in the car the other day, and I couldn't recall the reference. It was, well, maybe you all remember. Do you remember the final song that played on the final episode?
No.
Well, it came on in the car, and Matt was like, you know what this is? And I'm like, no.
What is it?
It's something with blue in the title. It's I can't remember any. I mean,
I'm sure it'd be like, oh, I hear it, I remember it type thing. But...
yeah, I don't think I knew the song outside of it being in Breaking Bad. Blue Breaking Bad.
It randomly popped up on what's the TV
Baby Blue.
Baby Blue
doesn't ring
by
a bell.
Badfinger.
But the TV channel that shows old shows like that,
AMC,
maybe it was that. But I was just scrolling through one night, Katie had already gone to bed, and I was just scrolling through, and it was similar situation. It was just on, and I turned it on from watching from start to finish, and I was like, That's just the best show I've ever seen in my life. It's so good. Every single show is like its own movie. It's the quality is just so unbelievably good. The movie part of that question, if you could just watch that for the first time, I think Fight Club. I just think that movie was so. I remember the first time I watched it, and it was like you watch it and you think it's one thing, and then it's like another layer, and you're like, wait. Then there's another layer, and you just spend. I remember I watched it the first time, and I spent like 6 more hours after that just doing more and more research on the things that I missed for, and I was like, that's like the deepest movie I've ever seen in my life. So I loved that day and the night the first time I ever saw that. So I'd like to experience that again.
That's a good one.
My first instinct was to think The Office, because it's my favorite show. It's the show I watch all the time. And then I was thinking about it, and I was like, what I like about The Office is how repetitive or how much I can watch it and still enjoy it, because the first time watching The Office is not necessarily an enjoyable experience the whole time through, because you have to go through some of the most awkward, cringiest, things that like moments at like Scott's Tots and Dinner Party, like having to watch those for the first time, like that. Those episodes are funnier now than they were the first time I watched them, to me, because of like they were hard to watch the first time, like almost too difficult to watch, and now they're just hilarious. So but I think so when I rechanged my answer, Eastbound and Down is like the funniest laugh out loud show that I've ever watched.
It's a good one.
So that one and Breaking Bad were the two where I was like, I would love to watch those for the first time. Eastbound and Down literally like makes my side hurt. Like I've only watched it maybe all the way through twice, but just so funny. So I'd love to watch that one again for the first time, and then Breaking Bad as well. Like, but it's been a decade since I've watched that, since I've seen Breaking Bad. So I've probably forgotten half of it anyways at this point.
We got some great answers in the chat. A lot of votes for Peaky Blinders. Excellent show. Big Peaky Blinders fan. Turn the subtitles on. Do yourself a favor. Chappelle's Show. That's a good one.
Stephen Peake and I are big Chappelle Show guys.
Chappelle Show's great.
Chappelle Show.
Reno 911. I didn't watch that show, but I know a lot of people are fans. Wire and Game of Thrones. I am still trying to get through The Wire. Like, we love the first season. Have you all ever watched it?
I've watched
like one of the
few episodes, but never got into it.
Right. It's on all the best TV shows of all time lists, right? And so we were like, all right, well, we're gonna do it. We're gonna commit. Made it through the first season, started the second, and it was terrible. And everyone who's watched The Wire knows the second season is really hard to get through. So one day, Game of Thrones would be a good one.
Isn't the end of that terrible though? Like I feel like that would be.
I would just skip the final, at least the final season, or maybe the final 2 seasons.
Yeah.
Friends and Sopranos getting some votes. Sopranos would be a good one. 24, Arrested Development. 24 was great at the time. Yeah.
Arrested Development, the first 2 or 3 seasons of that show are hilarious. I would do that one too. Yeah. 24. So that came out, I guess I was in middle school or high school when it started. And I remember you would get the DVD box set, right? And my mom and my dad and I would sit down and we would just binge watch them. And that was like my first real experience with like binge watching something. And because 24, it all takes place in one day, right? It's like it happens in real time, kind of like The Pit. And so you get so addicted. It is so good. So the early seasons of that were great. Big fan. So that's a good question. So shout out to Connor R. What's our next question? If we've got one. CFE, who turns out to be the better recruiter when their time at UK is done? Mark Pope or Will Stein? Jack Pilgrim, we're going to put you on the spot and make you answer this. No, I'm just kidding. But
I think if we're looking at the current infrastructure and the
pre or post GM,
like, as things stand right now, Will Stein has an entire team around him, allowing him to be the best version of himself as a recruiter. Will Stein's going to be a better recruiter right now. I think that's the beauty in how Will Stein handled this. He's a 36-year-old, young, brand new. I've never done this before, and didn't think he was something that he's not yet, and said, hey, if I'm going to be a successful SEC head coach and compete with the big dogs, I need as much help around me as I can to cross T's and dot I's and be the best version of myself I can be, and hold myself accountable with negotiating and, making sure I have scoured the ends of the earth for every no name under the radar kid. And if we got a chance on a blue chip guy, we're going to go land a stud. So yeah, I think as things stand right now, I'm absolutely going to believe in Will Stein until he's proven otherwise, because Mark Pope unfortunately has proven otherwise. So we'll TBD on Pope, but I'm feeling pretty good about Will Stein as a recruiter.
That's a great point that I hadn't really thought about that you made about Will Stein. The fact that he is so young and he came in knowing that he doesn't have head coaching experience, that he may not be able to do all of this stuff on his own. Like there's an advantage that comes with that almost, right? It's like, I know I need help because I've never done this before. Whereas Pope is 50 something. He's been a head coach for a while now. Maybe there's like a stubbornness in thinking I can do it all. I have done it before. But the problem is everything has changed so much that no, you can't do it all yourself. You would go absolutely insane trying to do it all yourself. I'm not bashing Pope and saying that he's incapable of doing it, but no one is capable of doing the job at Kentucky all by themselves. Like, you will go insane. So I think that's interesting. I hadn't really thought of it that way.
And think of all of the talking points we had when Pope first arrived, and we heard all of he gets up at 4:00 in the morning and he is nonstop full go till 12:30 a.m. the next day, sleeps for 3 hours, and then he's right back to it the next day. And at the time we were like, yeah, about time, because we were coming off the Cal era and the Bruiser Flint era, and the guys who you just have to just stab them with sticks and be like, please work. Please get out of the Jeff Ruby's stool again, bar stool. Like, we are dying for you to work. And it was the total opposite, where you couldn't make Mark Pope not work. And now we're kind of seeing the long-term effects of that, of is he burnt out? I wouldn't say that necessarily, but he's also kind of been like, hey, I've been full go. This is my thing from the minute I set foot on campus. I'm not going to just change the way I operate now 2 years into it. So you're kind of seeing yes, he works hard. Nobody will ever say Mark Pope doesn't work hard, but hey, you're probably working too hard and more than you should have to work. So I see it both ways.
Well, hopefully Pope makes the changes that need to be made so that Pope versus Will Stein in recruiting is just a draw, because they're both awesome at it. So fingers crossed. All right. Do we have any more KS Board questions? I think we may have one more. CFE says, best medical show of all time: Trapper John MD, House, Scrubs, or The Pit. I have never heard of Trapper John MD, so I can't vouch for that one. I have seen House. I used to watch parts of Scrubs, and we started The Pit. I loved House. I thought House was great. I did tell him this on KS Board. He omitted ER, the OG medical drama, and Grey's Anatomy, which I get is much more like a soap opera than a medical show, but it's probably the one I've watched the most out of those. So in terms of true medical shows, probably The Pit would win, because I don't know if you all watched it. It seems it's very realistic. It's almost too realistic in that it's kind of a depressing watch because it's sad. But I don't know. Zach, do you have any serious thoughts about medical shows?
No, that's not something I normally queue up on my Netflix. I when I was growing up, Scrubs would just pop up on Comedy Central when I was.
Isn't Scrubs coming
flipping.
Back?
Yes. It's currently back. Yeah. I think it just came back. And that show was funny, but yeah. And sometimes random House clips will pop up on my TikTok feed for whatever reason. Seems like a very odd guy. So maybe I'm sure it's an interesting show, but those typically aren't the ones I'm seeking out now.
I used to randomly watch House as a kid. It was just one of those scroll through and turn it on, and I was 10, and I was just hey, House. I love House. This is awesome. That was one of my favorite shows as a kid. My brother watched a lot of Scrubs. I never got totally into that. When I started dating Katie, she was just obsessed with Grey's Anatomy and just every single episode. So that was one of those that I'd be working or doing homework or whatever, and I'd be from the kitchen looking over and seeing her watch it in the living room. So not a huge fan, but I know some of the general storylines of McDreamy and Meredith and all the, all
Hey,
of the,
R.I.P. McSteamy. McSteamy died last week. It was
Yeah.
really sad.
yeah,
I did see
R.I.P.
that. Yeah.
And then what was the other? I think that's it. But
Pit.
yeah,
Did you watch Trapper John
she's-
MD?
No, God no. But she's
idea what
watching
that
The Pit right now, and apparently it's just like the most depressing, horrible thing in the world. And I won't even like look
It's
over her shoulder to
sad.
watch that one. I'm not going to do that. So
Yeah, it's a great show, but I'm big on, I can only watch dramas so much. Like I watch TV in part to be happy and like have a distraction. So I can't watch depressing stuff too much.
update on a month ago happy hour when I was totally fresh out, new green on Traders. I have started watching I watched the entire first season, midway through season 2, and I love it. It's
It's so good.
freaking awesome. So
Season 4 finale is tonight.
So thank you very much for the recommendation. I did take you up on it, and it is very, very good.
Traitors.
Yes, it did. Traitors.
I love it.
$10,000.
So you're not watching season 4, so you won't get the joke. But there's an Irish girl on there, and she like has very, very heavy Irish accent. So when she says the letters TH together, it's just T. So it's like I think the tree traitors. It's terrible. I can't do a good Moore accent, but I'm very excited about the season 4 finale tonight. Although I won't get to watch it live because I'm going to a Predators game, but I will have it queued up for when I get back sometime this weekend. But
Is that the jersey
Very-
you're wearing?
yeah, this is
Sweater?
it's called a sweater. Yeah, it's
Oh, I'm
the
sorry.
winter classic from like forever ago. But yeah, trust me, I made the mistake of calling it a jersey enough times and got reprimanded that it's a sweater. So yeah. But I haven't been to a Preds game in a while. I used to have a contact in the Preds office who was a big UK fan. So shout out Jeremy, but he moved on. So he's the one. I don't know if it's still up there in KS office. We have a Nashville Predators KS bar jersey. He's the one who hooked us up with that. So
Yeah.
one day it'll get hung on the wall. I'm still.
I was about to say, I
still
think it's just
efforting.
laying there. I don't think it's
just
just
gonna
laying in
take
the
it
office
back.
somewhere.
I know. I'll hang it up one day if I have to do it myself. So looking forward to that. I think that has brought our happy hour to an end. We went over an hour, guys. That was really
That was fun. I enjoyed that.
Yeah. Cheers to everybody and cheers to you guys. We will be back next week to get you further ready for the SEC tournament. And hopefully we'll be celebrating a win over Vanderbilt and Texas A&M. So until then, shout out to Country Boy, shout out to my old Kentucky Home Repair, and shout out to you guys. If you aren't already subscribed to the KSR YouTube channel. I don't know if our subscriber count is accurate, but we are efforting to get to 10K.
Steven, we gotta get that fixed. There's like 7 different subscriber numbers when you go through the.
So what I do is I try to get it. So if you go to the other ones, it'll say 50. It's 58.8 today, but I try to like show it growing because that gets people to.
I told you.
Nice.
Like it's actively going up 100 subscribers every
Yeah.
time
We're going viral. Whoa.
It's where it starts lower and it works its way up to where it's accurate. But I have to go back to make the KS board questions after it. So, but yeah,
Nice.
it's 58.8.
Nice.
I remember when we hit 50K. I feel like that wasn't
a
too
big
long
deal.
ago either. So,
Yeah.
almost.
Well, if you're
over
not
8,000
subscribed
later.
yet, make it work to get him even closer to 100K. So, all right, guys, see you later. Go Cats.